Hi, everybody. It's me, Giggles, aka Michelle Renee. Thank you guys so much again for 13,000 subscribers. I am so super duper thankful for you guys. And without any ado, let's get to answering your questions. MJH asks, are you in fact a little ball of giggles? Yes. Bill and Braden ask, do you have a favorite creepypasta? I don't think I have a favorite, so to speak, but recently, out of the ones that I narrated, I really liked the one that was titled, I Was in a Cult That Silenced Women. I thought that the world building was very clever and like scary realistic, and I loved all the little details like about the tattoo. So I thought that was really sensational, and I liked the conclusion of the story. Do you do any acting outside of your narrations? Oh boy, oh gosh. I actually just completed a callback for Sweeney Todd, and I'm waiting to hear back the cast list, so I'm a little on edge right now. But yeah, I do acting outside of my narrations. I do voiceover. I have a commercial agent. I have been in a commercial. It was just the background, nothing like super spectacular, but I had a lot of fun. And I do musical theater. I'm trying to do more. So yeah, I pretty much do. If anything, narrations kind of help me stay on my monologue game. And also, they're just kind of fun to act out when, I've got no other projects going on, so it keeps me on my toes. How did you go about developing the voice for Lily Madwith? Okay, so I didn't want her to sound like a really basic little girl, because I have my basic little girl voice, but she's a little interesting. So I kind of thought that maybe to make her sound a little bit more mucusy, as kids do, sometimes they sound like they have just stuff in the back of their throat. So I sort of thought about making her a little nasally and then kind of give her that meandery, kind of dragging out words sort of idea. And it all just kind of came together with that. And yeah, I've also worked with kids a lot, so some of it is obviously inspired by how some of the kids I've worked with or babysat, what have you, have spoke. So yeah. LOL, this isn't a question, but I just wanted to say that I am so happy for you. 13K is huge, and I can't wait to see how much bigger that number gets as time goes on. Thank you so much, Bill and Braden. That is so sweet. I'm really honored. It's a huge privilege, so thank you so much, my friend. Anti-Villain Wolf says, I have 4. Oh boy. Number 1, what is your testimony? Who were you before you knew God, and how did you come to know God today? Excellent question. So I was raised in a Christian home. My dad was actually Jewish, but he came to know that Christ was his Messiah, like somewhere during my childhood. So he was a Messianic Jew. My mom was devout Christian, so I was raised Christian. It didn't become quite real to me until I turned 9, and then I was like, wow, like God is actually real. Like I have seen things that are a testament to him, and I believe it. And that's when I like first made the step to, walk forward and accept him as my Lord and Savior, and not just by proxy because of my parents' beliefs. And then sort of again, later on, I want to say in high school, he became real to me again. And I knew that I was like, okay, yeah, like I definitely believe in God. And yeah, he really helped me metamorphosize from someone who was kind of bitter and hanging on to the past and just dwelling in sorrow and bitterness and all of that. And, obviously, like, I'm still human, as we all are. I have moments where I could have like an old habit come up, but compared to where I was before, I really felt God changing me and working in my heart. I feel like it's such a different contrast, because now I feel like I'm a lot healthier, and I think that I recover from things quicker, and I think that I've just improved for the most part. And, all the credit really is to God, because I was really stuck in my ways for a long time. I've been kind of getting in the habit, or at least trying to, of reading a couple of Christian books. There's some that like kind of say the same thing over and over again, but I'm reading one by Max Lucado right now that is, wait, hold on, that's his name, right? Yeah, it is. But it's about being anxious and like having worries and stuff. So I was reading that earlier today and like I cried because I was like, oh, that is so true. Like, you know, I really just have to just trust like God that everything will turn out okay, like regardless of earthly things. And, you know, that's all I can do. So, I mean, I hope that answers the question. That's how, like, I spent some time with him today, and I'm going to read another chapter tonight, probably. Second question. Do you and the other original Creepypasta narrator still talk to each other? Like Mr. Creepypasta, Creeps McPasta, Creepypasta Jr., if he's all right, since he hasn't uploaded in over a year, and Madame Macabre, etc. So, that's really fun. So I never really talked to Junior so much. One of my other friends who doesn't narrate anymore, but was a narrator back in the Skype days of everything, she was closer with him, and like we saw him at a convention, and you know, she stopped to talk to him, and he was like, oh, I remember you. He didn't remember me, even though we've collaborated before, but it's fine. It's okay. Madame Macabre, I've been to cons with Madame Macabre, and you know, we've hung out together at Mr. Creepypasta's house with like everybody else and stuff too, but I haven't really heard from her in the past few years. She's just been really busy. So yeah, like I just haven't heard from her in a while, but she's really awesome. Like I love her to death. Creeps McPasta, I'm not super close to, but once in a while we'll have an interaction. And then Mr. Creepypasta, he's like my big brother. So out of the bunch, I'm much closer to him. We text pretty often. I would say like maybe every week or so, or like, you know, we send stuff to each other on Instagram, or he usually sends me TikToks and I send him stuff on Instagram. So yeah, we still hang out. We still talk to each other. It's great. And yeah, he's like my big brother. 3, have you thought about doing live streams, either just to hang out and talk or stream some scary games? I know I'd want to watch for sure if I was able to. Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. So like maybe in the beginning few years of this channel, I did think about doing live streams. I didn't know how to manage Google Hangout or anything though. Maybe it's different now because I haven't seriously thought about it like recently, but I have in the general, you know, time spans of my channel thought about doing live streams. I don't know if I could do scary games just because I want to save money. But I mean, I have thought about it before. I'll have to think about it some more and figure it out because that would be really fun. Number 4, have you ever knowingly and willingly broken the law, or are you a goody two-shoes? Please don't say too much and incriminate yourself if the answer is yes, LOL. I have. Nothing huge, I promise. I mean, well, it's the law. It's still not good. So if you're a scuba diver, you should know that it is illegal to take things from the ocean. And the youngest that you can get certified is 12. And that's how old I was when I got certified and got my diver's license. I'm pretty sure this was in another country, but my dad and I saw like part of an abalone shell while we were on a dive, and he was like signaling for me to put it in my pocket, and I did, and I still have it. So yeah, that was not good. Thank you very much for your hard work and all the stories you read for us. You're definitely underrated and deserve many more views and subscribers. Keep it up, and may God bless you abundantly above all you have asked or thought. Oh my goodness, you're gonna make me emotional. That was very sweet. Thank you so much. I really, guys, I really appreciate the comments. I wish I had more ways to say that, but that's all I can muster up sometimes. I just need to get better at receiving compliments. G27 Pat asks, how did you end up working with Mr. Creepypasta, as this is what drew me to your channel through your narration of Lily Madwhip? So, Mr. Creepypasta and I have known each other for 10 years. Back when I first started narrating and he encouraged me, you know, we at some point met over Skype and we just became friends. And, you know, there's like a group of us. There's a lot of other narrators. So we all just kind of had a friendship group going on. And it's just continued over the years, you know, like some people don't talk as much anymore, but we do have like that core group still there, I think, pretty much. As for how I ended up working with him for Lily Mad Whip, whenever he has collabs, he's told this to me, at least, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it somewhere else too, where he's told me that if he gets a female perspective story and it's like a more mature, womanly voice that fits the character, he'll ask our other friend, Autumn Ivy. And if the character is more youthful and girlish, he'll ask me. And as it came to be, Lily Mad Whip is a Lily. Lily Mad Whip is a Lily. Lily Mad Whip is a little girl, so he asked me to do it. And that's how I ended up doing Lily Mad Whip for his channel. Who's Pooping Out Here? Great username. Asks, what was the most paranormal thing you've seen, and are you into conspiracy theories? I'm gonna answer the second one first. I'm not really into conspiracy theories. I mean, like, I could have crazy situations pop into my mind, but I'm not really, like, into conspiracy theories. As for paranormal, I've told a couple on the channel. There's, like, one that I titled The Little Door, which is a true story. But I think the most amazing one, I don't know if I would call this paranormal. It's supernatural in the way where it was definitely like a god thing. But basically, when my grandmother passed away when I was 11, I felt like there was like an extra person in the room. And I looked up and I saw this person just covered in white, kind of radiating huge blue eyes. And then like he was gone like in an instant. And for a while I thought I was like making that story up. I was like 11 and I had a big imagination, and like I was so good sometimes I could trick myself. So I was like, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know if this really happened, if I just like dreamt this or something in the middle of all the emotions or something. But then like a while later, my dad was telling my mom, he was like, hey, like I saw an angel when your mom passed. And she was like, no way. She was like, what do you mean? And the descriptions are a little bit different because the one I saw, he was like all covered up, including his face. It was just his eyes that I could see. But my dad was like, oh, he had like this kind of hair and this kind of skin tone. And he was dressed in all white and he was like glowing and he had the most vibrant blue eyes. And so I was like, okay, yep, I definitely didn't make that up, because if I did, how did my dad see it too? So that's like, it was a reassurance, and it was like, I don't know how to explain it. There was like a warmth to that, and knowing that God had his hand in that. And I truly believe that my dad and I like felt/saw an angel when my grandmother passed. So that was really cool and really sweet. Really interesting experience. Nathan Swampson 662 asks, and I will be here when you hit 100,000. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. Alan Stop 5502 asks, 2 questions for ya. 1, any movies or stories that you would like to see be turned into a musical and or live show? Oh my gosh, so I am the biggest fairy tale nerd. I like the traditional fairy tales more than I like Disney, and I like the versions before the Grimm brothers collected them and rewrote some of their endings, etc. The Grimm versions are fine too. I just really like seeing all the different variants, and I love them. So when it comes to stories that I would love to see be turned into a musical, the first ones that I think of are like Thousand Furs, Prince Lindworm, The Six Swans, if they could manage that, or even like, I would really like an actual show for Snow White that is different from the Disney adaptation, as well as Little Red Riding Hood. I think those would be really fun and really interesting. Ooh, I'm missing out on the most obvious one. Pied Piper of Hamelin. Love that story. That one should get a musical. Number 2, what's your plan when you inevitably hit 1 million subscribers? I don't know if I ever get there. First and foremost, I don't need to get there. It would be really cool, but like I don't need to get 1 million subscribers. It is really nice having people say really wonderful things about you and say, oh, I'm a big fan. And that's really encouraging to me, and I love it, but it's just not everything, like, you know, the fame aspect of it. I suppose if I did get that many followers, though, I would probably be making enough to fully produce my own original fairy tales that I myself write, which I'm gonna start doing anyways. It's just probably not gonna look as fantastic as I had always wanted it to be, but you know, they've been living in my head for like a million years, so I have to get them out there. And more information on that will come soon. But yeah, so I would probably utilize that and see if I could get animators and composers. And I would also hold auditions too within the fan base as well to see if anybody could help out with, or knows anybody who could help out with producing original animated musicals or such. So yeah, that's probably what I would do. Archives asks, is there a fictional villain you can relate to? Ooh, not a lot. You know what? I relate to two. These are gonna be awful answers. I'm sorry, they're just the first two that I thought of. The first one is probably Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, because, you know, he's a God-fearing person. And I will say, in the way that, like, he's been written by Victor Hugo, it's a really interesting contrast because Victor Hugo also wrote Les Miserables, and, you know, he wrote Jean Valjean. So in one story, we have a God-fearing man who's virtuous and does the right thing and has grace, and has been forgiven. In another story, we have a God-fearing man who manipulates and lies and, you know, like uses people, you know, and stuff like that. And he does like some pretty awful and nasty things. So looking at Frollo, especially in the stage musical, it's like a good reminder to not do that, I guess, or, you know, not to be that person when, you know, obviously when you're like, I don't need anything, I just need God. It's really easy. I'm not saying this for myself, but I feel like in general for Christians, it's really easy to slip into the mindset of, you know, holier than thou. And I do not want to do that. So Frollo's kind of a good reminder, a good eye-opener of like, oh, do I say things like that? Or do I do things like that that I need to work on so that, you know, I don't do that. So yeah, excellent villain, love the villain. Sadly, can relate a little bit, not all the way. And then the second one I'm gonna say is Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. I like how feminine and frilly and pink she is. And she's kind of, I mean, you kind of have to admit it, like she's a bad guy, but she's also kind of in Elle Woods' lane, you know, where she's like this like government official or whatever for the Ministry of Magic or whatever. And she's like a boss, but she's still pink and feminine and like, you know, like sickly sweet kind of. So I feel like if I could play any villain, it would be someone like her. Someone just so nose up in the air wearing her pink, you know? I can't really relate to like all of her really, but I love the femininity, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Strange Storylines asks, have there been any folk tales that stuck with you throughout your life? Oh my goodness, I just outed myself as the biggest fairy tale nerd / enthusiast, so yes, I could tell you a million, like right off the bat. I could like say everything. All the ones that I mentioned before are pretty much like ones that have stuck with me. I think the ones that I would claim as like my absolute favorites though, that like I think about the most is probably, in no particular order, Little Red Riding Hood, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and Snow White. So those ones are definitely my favorite, and they have stuck with me. And I've played 2 of those characters on stage, so 1 to go. Other than that, have you heard of any folkloric legends from the Philippines? Yes, I have. I was so happy the day that I found out that we had folklore and we had legends and stuff. Of course, the first one I heard of was the aswang. That's my favorite one to tell other people too. When I ask them, have you heard about any creatures or myths from the Philippines? That's my favorite one to tell them about because it's the scariest. But, you know, I've also heard about the duende, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, the anisisit. They're like the little people that walk around your house, and they're the reason that the house goes bump in the night when you're trying to sleep. They're not malicious or anything, but if you step on them, you get sick. I think it's anisisit. I like them. Tikbalang, the Capre. I've heard about a handful of them. I should read up on more of them though, because they're really interesting and very fun. And I like trying to see how, our ancestors, etc., maybe made them up, or, what happened to make them believe that this was the explanation. Very interesting. A J Pony Apis channel, I'm sorry, asks, what is your favorite / least favorite fruit or vegetable? Ooh. I really like strawberries and blueberries and starfruit. I am not so much a fan of cucumber. I don't think I'm allergic, but I think I have an intolerance of sorts to cucumber. Because whenever I eat one, I just feel gross. I just feel sick, and I have like a horrible, horrible headache. So yeah, I'm not really a big fan of cucumber. With vegetables, I like a lot of vegetables. I like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, corn. I like zucchini. You know what? I don't think I like kale. I don't like kale very much. It does not taste good to me. So yeah, I'll answer it with that. Asterbon Ratio Arek says you go. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Asterbon Ratio Arek. I really appreciate that. Robert to Bobby says, congrats on 13K giggles. As far as a question, I can only think of one. When it comes to creepypasta or any horror stories, do you prefer ones where there is a clear monster? Movie example, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, or more psychological horror, EX, Shutter Island? I kind of like ones where there's more of like a villain, like a dude, like not a ghost, but like, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface. I really like slashers because the characters are just so much fun. So I guess that would be my answer, but so as not to avoid your actual question about the choice between creature features and psychological horror, I think psychological horror I probably like more. There's nothing wrong with creature features, I don't know, I can't really get behind them as a character as much. And psychological horror, I feel like, you're in the character's head, so I really like that. Anything that I can try to piece together the deeper meaning of the story, I'm there for. Archives also asks, do you gravitate towards certain themes and stories, good versus evil, psychological, dystopian, etc.? Oh boy, do I. So for those who don't know, I am a theater actor. I also do like voiceover and stuff, and I have like a little bit of training in film and TV, but I'm mainly of the theater. And I've also taken courses on script analysis, which I fell in love with. So I guess I don't gravitate towards certain themes in stories. I just like finding the theme and then using that to help me figure out the rest of the story and its deeper meaning. Really, really love, dissecting things and picking them apart and analyzing them, so that, we could talk about it more. It's so fascinating to me. Craig Stewart 9431 asks, where did the name Little Ball of Giggles come from? Is there a story behind it? Yeah, so in elementary school, I had always wanted a nickname, and I think a friend of mine one time ever called me Little Ball of Giggles, Hugs, and Sunshine. And I was like, that might be the nicest thing anyone's ever called me. My family had given me cute nicknames, but I don't know, I wanted ones that friends would call me. So around the time when I made this channel and I needed to come up with a username, or, technically I rebranded, but Giggles was a part of this. I was trying to figure out what to call myself, and then I remembered Little Ball of Giggles, and I was like, wait, that's so perfect. It works, it fits, and I think Giggles really does a good job of representing my bubbly personality, and I think that that'd be really cute to be called Giggles. So yeah, now everybody calls me Giggles, and some of my closer friends also call me Gigs, so nickname of my nickname, and I'm very proud of it. Stripe801 asks, 1, what were those ICP songs you listened to? Oh my gosh, so I will admit it's been a hot minute since I've listened to Insane Clown Posse. I like the one where they're trying to catch a predator. I thought it was very intense, but like very fantastic. And then I think they did another one about dinner time. I could be wrong. It was mainly that other one about how to catch a predator, something like that. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. Number 2, any tattoos? No, I'm not a tattoo person. I don't really want to get tattoos. That's just me. Number 3, do you drink? Yeah, occasionally. I never want to like get drunk, but like I do like occasionally have a drink. Not too much though. Number 4, how tall are you? I'm a shorty. I'm 5'2" and proud. Number 5, favorite musical of all time. Right now, I have to say, maybe it's because I'm so high off of like just auditioning for the show and waiting for the cast list, but I really do love Sweeney Todd. At least I realized that Joanna really is like my biggest dream role. I love Sweeney Todd. There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of comedy. The music is beautiful. Oh, I love it. But I also really love Into the Woods. I like Heathers. I like Wicked. But yeah, I think Sondheim really gets me. He's got like all the depth. I love the difficulty and the playability of his music. So I gotta stick with my Sondheim musicals, Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods. Number 6, some of your favorite horror movies if you watch them. Oh boy, okay. I love Scream, love the whole franchise. The first one is obviously my favorite. Love Scream. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is such a hoot. He's such a fun character, and Robert Englund is such a phenomenal actor. You could just tell in every frame that he's having so much fun, and I love seeing that. I really enjoyed, I'm not sure if these are considered horror movies, but I consider them horror movies. Really loved Promising Young Woman, really loved Last Night in Soho. I loved The Menu. This next movie really disturbed me to the point where I had difficulty sleeping for a little bit. I actually really did enjoy Don't Worry, Darling. I'd be down to watch it again, but like I need to watch it with people. But that was a really good one. There's probably more, but those are some of my favorite horror movies. Ooh, and last but not least, we got Jerry the Cartoonist coming in clutch with like 6 questions. I love it. Jerry the Cartoonist says, I'm just seeing this. I hope I'm not too late. Congrats on reaching 13K. Thank you, Jerry the Cartoonist. I appreciate that. 1, Digital Circus. How are you feeling about it? Personally, it's my favorite animated series on YouTube right now, which is wild because it's only the pilot, but it checks off so many boxes for me. Great character designs, fun storytelling, dark humor, surreal imagery. The list goes on, trust me. I have not heard of this animation. Digital Circus. I should check it out. It sounds right up my alley. Number 2, how much do you commission for narrating an original story on your channel? Asking for a friend. How much do I commission for narrating an original story? Ooh, this is such an odd question to me. Like, how much would I charge to narrate your friend's original story? I would keep it simple. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I would keep it simple. $10. That's negotiable. But yeah, maybe that. Yeah. Number 3, did you see Wish? If so, what did you think of it? I'm happy that they tried something new, but the execution, ugh. Honestly, the only thing that makes me sad about the movie not doing well is it gives Disney a chance to say, see, original content doesn't do well, I guess it's back to the remakes. So I have not seen Wish. As I've said already in this video, oh gosh, I might lose some people, but it's okay. This is just my opinion. I'm not Disney's biggest fan. I do like a lot of their movies, and some of their choices certainly are fantastic. But I'm also just such a big fan of the original fairy tales. There's been times where I've been like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. Or like, oh, you guys could have picked like, you know, someone who could do X, Y, Z, you know, whatever. As for Wish, I have not seen it, but I've been watching like a couple of other people's reviews on it. And I feel like if I watch it, honestly, it'll be really entertaining. But I do feel like it will be lackluster considering, you know, the whole goal of what they're trying to do, which I won't disclose in this video. And I do feel your pain also about them potentially being like, oh yeah, this movie bombed, so let's just go back to doing remakes. Because like the remakes, in my opinion, are not good. And I feel like they only pick people due to status rather than character or ability. So, but that's just my opinion. I don't want to get into a deep talk about this because I have a lot of strong opinions on it. But yeah, didn't see Wish. I don't think I'll hate it, but I don't think I'll love it either. Number 4, have you given any more thought to the Courage the Cowardly Dog musical? Just curious. No, I haven't. I feel like I don't have a composer that would be willing to do this. It's a great idea, but honestly, if someone else picked it up, I wouldn't be mad. It would just be really fun to see someone create it because I don't have the assets, I guess, to put it together. Number 5, did you voice a character for an indie horror game? I ask because I think I heard your voice while playing one a while back. I don't remember the name, but I figured this be the perfect opportunity to ask. I did. I think it was horror. I was in one, I think the title was Mr. Maze, and I was the main guy's niece or something. I was a little girl. She runs through a maze and he has to follow her so that nothing bad happens or something. I think her name was Penny. So I think, yeah, that's me, definitely. If that's not the one that you heard, I apologize. But that's the only one I could think of right now. There might have been more. I don't know. That's just the only one I could think of. And then 6, will you answer this question? Yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer my questions, and congrats once again on your growing success. I'm rooting for you. Oh, thank you so much, Jerry. I really appreciate that. And hey, thank you guys so much to everybody for asking me questions and saying such wonderful, encouraging compliments. Thank you guys so much. I love always getting to answer your guys' questions. It's just so much fun, and it's really interesting to do it on the fly too. So thank you guys for asking your questions and for all around just being a really fantastic audience. Thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!